Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast and welcome to Star Player Spotlight. We are looking at Mighty Zug today, the mightiest of all the Zugs. So we are going through every star player that's been released in the Blood Bowl 2020 rulebook, and we're looking at their stats, their skills, their cost, their teams and their special abilities. And let's have a look at one of the biggest humans we've got. So Mighty Zug got a little bit more diverse or inclusive in this Blood Bowl 2020 edition. He can now be taken for an absolute ton of teams. So all of those ones that have the Old World Special Rule, the Lustrian Super League Special Rule, or the Halfling Thimble Cup. Can take him. So he can actually be taken by a ton of teams. So dwarves, halflings, humans, Imperial Nobility, Ogre, Old World Alliance, and Lizardmen. So all of the good teams can now run Zug, and he will provide a lot of muscle, which is probably what a couple of these teams are looking for. So let's look at exactly what you get for your money with Zug. So he's reasonably cheap as far as star players come these days, 220k. So if you think about those teams, are they realistically going to be able to afford him? Actually, 200 to 250 is a reasonable amount of inducements to expect. I can see it happening. You've got a new team against a medium team in the league, you know, a team that's a season old or something, might be hitting 1250, 1300. So in a league, you are reasonably likely to be able to pay 220 to take Zug. The great thing about 220k is those tournaments that are hitting at 1200 or 1250, immediately, really all you're doing is chucking him on the top of a 1000 TV build. That in itself is pretty great. So the reason that's great is, okay, let's have a look at some of his stats. Movement 4 is very low. Strength 5 is very high. So what you're getting with Zug is a big brawler. Okay, so movement 4, strength 5, agility 4+, not great. Passing 6+, not great, but no one passes in this new edition apparently, except for Skaven Throwers, the #1 thrower in all Blood Bowl today. Maybe it'll change tomorrow. Then it's Chameleon Skinks. Armor 10+. So he is a chunky boy that is going to be tough to crack. Skills wise, you don't get a lot, but the ones you do get are pretty decent. Block, Mighty Blow +1, and Loner 4+. Loner 4+ is exactly normal. So for 220k, you get a boneheadless ogre whose movement busted a little bit. Strength 5 block, Mighty Blow. It is going to give you a 2-die block or 2-die blitz every single turn of the game. And the great thing about Strength 5 is actually, with a couple of assists, or if you're playing against a stunty team or anything like that, you're just going to absolutely hemorrhage. Block nice. And Mighty Blow +1 is going to do some serious work. Yes, Agility 4 means he's not going to be the most maneuverable, and even though the very lovely miniature above does have him holding a ball and running with it, only on a touchback. 4+, you can do it. Ogre teams, you can do it on a 4+. Zombie teams, you can do it on a 4+. But those teams tend to not have Loner on their pieces. And Loner 4+ for a 4+ pickup is not good odds. So bear that in mind. On the other hand, for a cheap 220, you get an absolute piece of armor to put on your line. So if you are looking for someone to go on the line or to be a midfield blitzer, the movement's going to hurt him. But actually getting him deployed as a short linebacker or on the line itself, Strength 5 is going to do a load of work. His crushing blow ability as well is going to help with that. So let's have a look at his special ability. Once per game, when an opposition player is knocked down as a result of a block action performed by Zug, you may apply an additional +1 modifier to the armor roll. This may be applied after the roll has been made. Now he's already got Mighty Blow +1. So what we're seeing here is a cheaper version of Varag Ghoul Chewer. Exactly the same special ability and Mighty Blow combo. So he is going to, once per game, get +2 to that armor roll, or +1 and +1. That mixed in with Strength 5 block makes him a very cheap weapon. Okay, we looked at secret weapons before and we like them because actually it gives your team a special way of murdering stuff, and Zug is going to do that as well. He's going to be around the entire game. He's got armor 10, he's strength 5, he's got block, he's going to be well defended. He is not the most exciting star player, but he is probably one of the most efficient punch bag men ever. Like, he's going to do some damage. Something to consider is that Zug is now in competition with Grim Ironjaw. Now, Grim Ironjaw is 200 and strength 4. Got block, got mighty blow, got frenzy, got dauntless, got multiple block. 20k more gets you strength 5. And that's something you've got to really consider, because there's an insane amount of crossover with these teams, with these players. And that is something you're going to have to choose between, is whether you want strength 4 or strength 5. My opinion, I can see Mighty Zug being taken quite a lot in tournaments and in leagues, because that 200 price is pretty sweet. Let's have a look at a couple of miniatures you can use to run Mighty Zug. And of course, we start off with the Forge World miniature itself. So it's a really lovely miniature. Personally, I'm a big fan of the medallions. It is the Forge World price, so it's going to cost you 20 something pounds with postage if you live in the UK. About the price of a mortgage if you live in Australia. But it's a lovely miniature. The cool thing about Zug is there's 4 or 5 editions of this model. So depending on how retro your team is, you can kind of tailor which Zug miniature you use, which I think is pretty cool. The other thing is that because Zug is a big Mighty Blow block dude, quite frankly, if you've got a cool ogre miniature or a big human star player miniature or like a Lord Borak kind of miniature, you can use that miniature to represent Zug, or at least use Zug's rules to represent who that miniature is for you. So that's what makes Zug a pretty adjustable star player. I do have one miniature I want to show you that I do quite like though. And again, it's from Grebo Miniatures, and this is called Crumb. So he is Crumb, human star player, 799. So might be a little bit smaller than you'd want your average strength 5 piece to be, but he's looking strength 4 at least. And Zug is a big lad. So this is, he's got the armor, he's got the dynamism, he's got that thick brow of a meathead, which I think is pretty appropriate. And if you don't want to fork out, and you don't have another miniature you want to represent it, sounds like the A-team again here, you can pick up this miniature for a pretty reasonable price, and it's going to do a wonderful job of being Zug. It's just really cool. That basically rounds up Zug. I guess the most important thing is that how he's a toolkit star player for a load of teams. I mean, just look at all of the different teams. Now, I love brewing up lists, as you guys have seen. So there is a tournament list with Zug in every single one of these teams. Maybe not so much ogres, because you might as well just take 2 ogres almost for the same price as Zug, but actually Zug leading a snotling no, they're not snotlings, Noblar team could be quite entertaining. But he is going to allow that reliable strength 5 block Mighty Blow piece for a reasonable price on all of these teams, and for that reason I think Zug is going to be pretty prevalent in the Blood Bowl 2020 Season 2, really. Anyway, that wraps up Zug, my thoughts, the miniatures, what he does. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Zug in 2020 and what you think of all the star players. Let us know who you want to cover, who you want us to cover next. And I will see you again very soon. Thanks for watching.